chicos, ¿cómo están? Hoy vamos a hablar del imperfecto. El imperfecto es también el pasado, como el pretérito. Pretérito e imperfecto son el pasado. Vamos a ver cómo conjugar el imperfecto. ¿Okay? El imperfecto in the past is also the past tense, as I had already mentioned it. It's just used in a different way than the preterite. Okay, as we can tell here, hablar and like in any other conjugation, AR verbs have their own endings, while ER and IR verbs share the M endings. As you can tell here, the only difference or the only different thing from all the other endings in the AR endings is that in the nosotros form, the first A of the ending is going to have a tilde. Habla, vamos. That is just to keep the intonation of the of the conjugation. So imperfect tense, we use it to talk about activities that we used to happen in the past or to describe how something or someone looked in the past. We use this. And in a minute, we're going to see how to use the imperfect tense more exactly. Okay, another thing that we've seen while we studied the preterite tense is that they are irregular verbs and also stem changers. However, with imperfect, we do not have to worry about stem changers, not even with the IR ending verbs. However, there are only 3 irregular verbs that you have to memorize. These 3 verbs are ir, ver, and ser. Just like it's shown here in the table. Yo iba, tú ibas, usted, él, ella iba, nosotros íbamos, ustedes, ellos iban. Yo veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veían. Ser, era, eras, era, éramos, eran. Those are the only 3 irregular verbs that you're going to have to memorize. So like I said, we're going to talk about a little bit about how and when to use the irregular verb, the imperfect verbs, sorry. Perfect tense. Can even speak today. Okay. So when to use the imperfect? Our first rule it is that we are going to use the imperfect when we have to describe actions that start in the past but are not necessarily ending in the past. Our example here is vivía en Colombia, meaning that you lived in Colombia not for only 1 year but for a long period of time. Okay? Número 2. Used to talk about habits, things that happen more than once. So this refers to things that, let's talk about your childhood or something that you used to do while you were in school. These were habits, things that happen more than once. Like you used to watch TV every night, you used to do homework at 4. Things that happen more than once, like I said before. So let's look at the example. Yo enfermaba de amigdalitis muy seguido. Yo me enfermaba de amigdalitis muy seguido. Me enfermaba. I used to get sick. De amigdalitis muy seguido, very often. You see, we're talking about someone that used to get sick often, that it wasn't like a one unique event. If it was a one unique event, that's when we use preterite. But since this is something that happened on a regular basis, happen more than once, we're going to use the imperfect. Regla número 3. When describing how someone or something looks. So let's think about when you're telling a story or you're telling someone what happened. Remember, you have to tell, oh, there was this person and that person looked like this or was doing this, or it was at night, it was freezing. Setting that atmosphere, describing the details of that, how something looked, okay, or someone looked, those in the past tense, those are gonna be details that we tell in the imperfect tense, just because we're setting that background. So let's look at our example. Ejemplo. La enfermera era alta y rubia. The nurse was tall and blonde. We're describing how that person looks. That's why it's gonna be imperfect. Mental or emotional states. Me encantaba visitar a mis abuelos. I used to love visiting my grandparents. So every time that you're talking about how you felt about something or how you were feeling about something, like if you were bored, sad, happy, you enjoyed doing something, those kind of things are gonna also be mentioned in the imperfect tense. Okay? When you're telling time, eran las 11 p.m. Eran las 8 de la noche. Era a las 4 la tarea. La clase era ayer. Every time you're talking about at what time something happened or what time was it when something happened, you are gonna, when you're describing that time, because think about it, it goes along with setting that background. You're telling the time, the background, or when that event was happening, or when that situation happened. So that's when it's gonna be imperfect too. And then we have age. Yo tenía 15 años cuando visité el mar. Yo tenía. Remember that when you talk about age, it's not like in English, I was 15. You don't use the verb to be in Spanish. We use tener, to have. So that is going to be in the imperfect as well. Because also it's just, again, like said in the background, we're giving details about that person. Therefore, it's going to be imperfect. Ok, chicos. Espero que no haya sido muy complicado. Por favor, revisen la tabla de conjugación de verbos. Memoricen ir, ver y ser. Si tienen preguntas, por favor, escriban las preguntas en el tablero de discusión. Gracias. Chao.